Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast, a brand new episode this week where we'll be talking about, of course, we've qualified for Europa League final. Last week we were sitting here recording it, thinking about how we could possibly even do this, like how it's even on the horizon. We're now there. We're now seeing people travelling their numbers and get everyone sorted out to go to Seville next week. And it's just a crazy time to be a fan of the club. So obviously we're going to give our thoughts on the experience, the game, getting there, and all of that. And then obviously yesterday as well, Dundee United, dead robbery a game in the league, but it was nice to see some performances for some fringe players, some youth players. So we'll talk about that at the very end. But as always, if you'd like, subscribe, share about for us, always appreciated. And we'll start with RB Leipzig at home then going into it. Personally, when I seen the team come out and I seen that there was no Sakala, Scott Wright was starting again, I was like, right, maybe we will need to dream for this to actually happen. Maybe that will be the thing on it today. But the nerves were took away after. You could tell the team for the first sort of 15 minutes struggled to get anything going. And I thought it were going to be hard to break Leipzig down. But all it took was sort of one ball up down the line. Kamara holds it up very well. And he passes on to Kent. Kent drives and you just know he's going to do something with it, which is the thing. I don't know if it was ever a shot or if he was aiming for Tavernier, but Tavernier gets his customary opening goal in the Europa League, as he's done, I think, near enough every game we've played this year. So it gets us off to a mental start, and you're thinking, right, it's now level. All the sort of nerves are took off with having to wait for the goal, and obviously you know how good an opposition RB Leipzig are, that they could maybe go and hurt you at times, but I thought we handled them for definitely the first half. They had a couple of chances, especially in maybe right after the goal. Danny Olmo had that one that went over the bar, but I think for a whole after that first goal, we were the better team.
Oh, miles away, son. Miles away. I just thought for the get-go, I said to you, I didn't think they were anything special. And I told you they would crumble and they would fold at Ibrox. The pressure would get to them, the fans, you and I, and everyone in attendance would get to them, and we did. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if they've been watching us in Europe, mate, altogether when they've been maybe doing their pre-match hanging for the game. Just Tavernier at the back post is guaranteed getting a goal. Kent, yet again, half the squad marking them probably. Just does it with ease, mate. Gets the ball through the tap for the goal. I couldn't believe it, mate, when that ball goes in. There's not a better feeling than the ball hitting the net at European night for Rangers. You just, honestly, mate, it was incredible. The atmosphere was just, that's what got to them. I told you, mate. I said to you, you can play all the wee nice football and all that, and you can celebrate like that in Germany, but when you come to Scotland, you come to Glasgow, and you walk, you come up to the famous doors, you come in, and you see all of us waiting ready to play the game. There's another 90 minutes. I'm telling you, their celebrations with that one, I told you, mate, they thought it was done and dusted with that goal. And when they came here, I told you they would fold. Overall with the game, mate, I'll be honest with you, I just remember the goals getting in. The atmosphere, mate, it was just...
I think everybody was just trying to sort of just count the clock down, because after the goal, the first goal...
watching the second half, I'll be honest. Clock watching the second half, I'm like, get it over.
And I'm like, how's that only been 2 minutes? I'm sitting there, how's this time going so slowly? But then, obviously, for the first goal, then build an attack up. I was sitting in the bus and I didn't even know it was 5 minutes that had passed since the first and second goal. I was like, how'd that happen? I thought it was like miles away feature. But again, very good work down that side. Kamara, Aribo, Wright, Tavernier, I think all linking up. And Glenn Kamara, if he ever had to hit a shot as perfectly as he did, it was that one. That was sensational, that finish.
Sweet as it, that was. Scott Wright, that is the most important thing you will ever do in your life, son. I'm telling you, is play that ball to Glenn Kamara. Unless you do something in the final, if you do play. But just straight away, as I say, I thought it was going to be one of the nights, I'll be honest with you as well, because Scott Wright, for the first couple of things, he was going, but wasn't sort of getting to where he wanted to be with the attack. But it was coming together. You could tell they were talking to each other. You could see him and Tav were talking quite a lot. I thought, don't you dare backtrack Tavernier in a European night, son. I will slap you personally myself, Scott Wright. But no, he played a beautiful ball to Glenn Kamara, and sweet as a nut. We've asked him to do it all the time because I know he can do it. Oh my God, when that hit the net, mate.
Nah.
Tremendous.
And then just on his left foot, just to get that sort of strike on it, probably one of the best goals I've seen at Ibrox, genuinely, just for the stakes of it and everything that lay on it. Me, obviously, being such a fucking massive Glenn Kamara fan and all, when that went in, it was him. Lovely tribute as well for the goal, his armband to Jimmy as well. So, perfect start. You're 2-0 up. You're thinking, right, what do you actually do here? The stadium is literally moving. Like, everybody's bouncing about. It's like, how is this even real? Leipzig obviously came into the game a wee bit. Aribo should have scored with that one. Should have put it out of sight by that point. He's got his feet mixed up with the finish. And then they went up the park, had a couple of chances. The one I remember right off the top of my head is the one where it got Aribo injured, actually, with the free kick. Didn't look like a free kick at the time, and then sort of concussion, have to make the sub. Obviously, you can't really risk it. At that point, it leads you to half time. Literal dreamland. You couldn't have wished for anything better than to be 2-0 up, leading in the tie, coming out all guns blazing, and blowing them away. And we did exactly that. Aribo, I thought, held up the ball as a number 9 very well. He was winning balls in the air, and he was bringing it down to Kent, Wright, whoever was coming in, and especially for the defence as well, having to deal with sort of attackers, and they're obviously going to have their moments in that first half, like Nkunku and Poulsen, I think it was started as well. So to deal with him as a defensive standpoint was good, but it was going into the biggest 45 minutes of our life, pretty much. It was, the second half was vital. We had to do everything right, and for a minute, obviously, because we get the Lundstrom goal, you're not really thinking about it anymore. But I think for maybe the first half an hour, we were second best to a lot of stuff. We were trying to sort of sit in and hit them, but nothing was happening for us. And it was similar to maybe Liverpool against Villarreal in that first half. They couldn't really make a pass. They couldn't really do anything. So I thought, right, it's inevitable they're going to score at some point. McGregor obviously pulls up a good save for Leimer, and then they just get the ball round and Angelino whips it in for Nkunku. It was inevitable. Nkunku scored, I think, near enough every Europa League game this year. So he gets his goal, took it really well. Thought it was a great finish. At that point, I'm thinking to myself, do we actually have what it takes now? Because we've started so well. We've let them back into the game. A good team maybe are going to go and pile on the pressure for that. But, I mean, we reacted really well. We reacted the way you want to.
No, we did, mate. But I'll tell you what was the difference there. It was the fans. Because usually when a goal goes in, you know what it is. It's, oh, come on. Straight away we knew. We had to keep them going. We had to keep them going and keep them alive, because you don't want them to doubt themselves. I just, straight away as the ball went in, obviously you're thinking yourself, oh, here we go, is it going to be? But I just knew straight away it could have either went one way with the Ibrox faithful, or it could have went another way. And thankfully it went the way that we all wanted to be. We get straight back right behind them. As soon as that ball hit that net, mate, I swear, people where I was, come on, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, I was clock watching, mate. I thought, I had a feeling it was going to extra time. I'll be honest with you, I thought this is going to go to extra time in the second half. As soon as that ball went in, I'm like, this is an extra time.
But then at that point as well, where they've obviously just scored, we've not really posed a threat to then go and score, and I'm like, oh, really, we don't look the same team going forward as we did in the first half. I thought Aribo was pivotal by the way we done that. Sakala wasn't really offering the same sort of outlet. Arfield had done well, to be fair, when he got the ball over the top and he put it over him, but then it's the pass at the end, just the final ball there.
See, for me, Scott Wright has no right to be. How did he get that ball that far? For me, honestly, he wins it back and then he gets in and he plays Calafell. For me, it was like Scott Wright had no right to do that. To people who are highly rated, that centre half you were on about, whatever you. See, for me, I think they've got 3 or 4 decent players in there. I rate that Leimer, Angelino, obviously Nkunku. Goalkeeper's a bit dog and bone, isn't he? I think it's been a bit late for that, for Kamara's one, but I'm not complaining about it. But I think apart from that, there's nothing really special there. I noticed their manager was trying to be Simeone a bit much. At times I was like, right, pipe down.
No.
Just pipe it. But overall, mate, honestly, I thought Calvin Bassey was tremendous. To a man, I thought we were all tremendous. But just honestly, the fans really, that's...
And then obviously, as you're saying with the whole team performance, it had to be like some of these players' best games they'll ever play, kind of thing, like to get through. And everybody to a man sort of pulled that.
But that's
pulled
what I'm saying. Let's be honest, do you know what I mean? Scott Wright, Scott Arfield, McGregor, do you know what I mean? People who, some ones that are on their way out in football, and some that are maybe no good, obviously no good enough to be that kind of level, right? Scott Wright will never see a European final. I don't know if he'll end up signing for Barcelona and go and win the Ballon d'Or, I don't know. But at this moment in time, I'm telling you, he'll never reach another European final. So he knew this had to be the biggest, performance of his life, man. Had to go out there and give it Everton. But to me, man, Lundstram, everyone just, they put a shift in when it was necessary and it was needed, as you say. Leipzig did dominate probably most of it in the second half. But they've not got the best player on earth, have they? So
I know. And it was just the way it all happened. Like Kent again providing just something in the left hand side. He makes out of basically nothing. He beats the man. I thought it was going in as well.
Honestly, for it, I turned and looked at people and I went, I thought he scored it, and then I hear the eruption behind me, and then there it goes. It's mental once he puts it in. But I genuinely thought he scored that. Just the way the keeper dived, I thought, fuck me, Kent's just scored a belter.
And then you're obviously celebrating at that point. It's Lundstram. Like everybody, I'm pretty sure would have not picked anybody better to score a winner than Lundstram at the moment. And he puts the ball in. I see VAR getting checked. After the celebrations, I'm pulling my hoodie over my face. I'm like, no. And then I just hear everybody cheering. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually happened. We're 3-1 up. Leipzig tried to come back. They pressured us better defensively. We were too strong in defence. Everybody was just, I mean, Ryan Kent, for an instance, Calvin Bassey probably uses his inexperience to try and beat the two of them when we've got a minute left to play. He tries to beat the two, and then Kent obviously has to tackle the man, goes out for a corner. They whip the corner in. Tavernier obviously goes to ground. Henriks is a shot, blocked off somebody, and then obviously the whistle goes. But for Leipzig, looking at the amount of money their squads and all that's worth, if you're a Leipzig fan, surely you're disappointed with that because, like, on paper, and I think that's what a lot of people looked at. On paper, you look at it and you're like, how has this even happened? But as we said during the week, it's 11v11, and we were the 11 that wanted it more, and that's what we've done. We used the crowd to our advantage, and we just played some good stuff, scored some good goals, and got the job done. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will take an enormous amount of credit for getting us here, because I don't feel if Steven Gerrard had to stay, we would be in the position that we are. Gio's made it. What we kind of like to see in a manager, what we were sort of crying out for, even when we were winning all last season, like changing it up, trying different formations, and just doing everything possible to go and get the best result. I mean, he's just got us to a Europa League final without a fucking striker, without Morelos, who surely is the guy that's going to lead the line. Roof, if not. No Philip Olander, no Yanis Hadji. All these players missing, and he's still been able to get the best out of some of the fringe players I haven't even looked at. So in terms of his tactics and everything, I know he'll take obviously a bit of criticism with the league and the points tally and stuff. Doesn't matter anymore. He's got us to 2 finals. He's got us to probably one of the biggest finals we'll ever witness. And for what it enormous means, amount of credit, of course.
As I saying, for what it means, mate, as I said, that you're looking around that stadium, you're looking at people looking at their dads, you're looking at dads looking at their wains, you're too young not to understand what it means, man. It's class, mate. It's just, we were too young, probably in the way, obviously, but now you see when you see it, mate. It's just beautiful, man. Honestly,
I remember 08 a wee bit.
I will,
but
I don't.
That was before technology and you could get phones. So my story about 08 was I went with my gran and my mum into Ibrox when they were showing the screening. Went in and all that. We left because we had to go to the subway and all that. I was like, 7 or 8 year old, so I'm obviously like a wee dafty at that point. Had to get the subway home. Obviously seen where Rangers tops and all that on. Couldn't just go on your phone and check what score was. So there was two guys being like, oh, Nacho Novo scored, it's 1-0 to Rangers. And we're sitting on the subway all that time thinking, oh my God, if you just missed a goal, and then you go home and you see they cunts were ripping the pish. So that was my sort of story of what I can remember at that time. Just getting the pish ripped out is about going winning it. But as you're saying there, just people looking about and just soaking it in, screaming, shouting, taking their taps off, just hugging whoever's about them. It's stuff like that you live for in football. You go to the games to experience moments like that, and I'm thankful that we support a club that we can go and see just so many people, so many loyal supporters that have been through everything with the club, experience such a special moment with everybody. It was a really nice occasion. It was hard to really take in. It was like, what do you do? Like, you've just made a European final. What do you actually do? Do you jump the pitch? Do you go and fuck it? What do you do? It was just...
For me, mate, it was beautiful to see that. As I say, like, people just embracing each other. As I say, we're not supposed to be here. That's what I'm saying. It just shows you football's still alive. I like that it's also for people who don't support the club, who are watching the game and who've seen it. It maybe give them the hope that one day maybe their team can reach a European final. It shows me that you don't really need a 100 million budget or whatever, how many millions in the bank to reach a European final. It is about the basic stuff in football still. It's about the supporters. It's about the manager getting the tactics right, believing in the players believing in themselves and going for it. But no, it's, as I say, mate, greatest night of my life probably. Hopefully there's another night coming up very soon. That potentially will be the greatest. But witnessing it, I'm just grateful I got to go to that game. As I said to you, mate, this is a game you're going to tell your kids about, and they'll tell their kids about, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just remarkable. And what it means for me, as I said, mate, you heard Ali McCoist on the BT talking about being in the third division and what have you, and then now we're in a European final. It's just, that's mental to me to say. It's hard not to get emotional when you talk about it, but man, I'm just can't believe it. Giovanni did it without a striker, man. That's even more.
And it's not as if, like, see, with the 2008 run, although that was remarkable in its own right for many different reasons, like, we were sort of grinding out results and getting a bit of luck on our side at times. We obviously at home we didn't really win too many, and then going away and like penalty shootouts and stuff like that. So obviously still getting to the final, can't take that away from you. But this run we're doing this year, we're actually battering teams. We're absolutely destroying some of the best teams apparently in Europe. We're going to one of the most intense atmospheres in Red Star Belgrade and still getting a result. We're going away to Braga, although Braga and Leipzig, you look at them, we get beat 1-0. It doesn't even matter because we come back and we just still battle them at Ibrox anyway. Like, I tell you, it's insane.
As I said, I think at the start when we was falling into the Europa League and everybody was just at the time, I don't even want European football, just win the league again and just guarantee the Champions League. Well, here we go. We can go and guarantee the Champions League, and we can potentially go and guarantee a lot more money to sign some players that would potentially come in and benefit the club. No re-signing players that obviously we're going to touch on it, but I mean, it's remarkable. This is what I say to you all the time. As I said before we started recording this, what I love about the podcast, we're in it, we're in the moment, and what we felt at the moment. We want to win the league to now, where we're just realising that this is history. This is genuine, like, history, mate, that we're witnessing in front of us. Still think the best game that we've played for me, personally, were the Dortmund games. I can't believe we blew a team like Dortmund away. We blew them away. I don't care what anyone says. World Cup winners in their team, top footballers in their team. Obviously, their big man, seen Calvin Bassey and thought, I don't want to play against that. So, no, I just can't believe we battered a team like Dortmund.
Yeah, and especially, I think the away result was just so surreal to even witness on the telly, because, I mean, you're thinking that it's good just to play Dortmund. Like, I've always wanted to see us go and play Dortmund, but
that's the difference.
To go and fucking batter them, man.
That's what Gerrard would have said. I'm telling you, that's what Gerrard would have been like. Oh, it's just good to be in these occasions, be involved in that. Giovanni went, no, thank you, sir. I want to batter them, and we've gone and done that.
So, but we're up 4-1 at one point in Dortmund. Obviously, they get that goal back and all that, but doesn't take away anything for that Tavernier goal at Ibrox in the second leg to sort of secure it for us. And it's another game we should have won. Kent's one where he was Morelos apparently made the foul on that, and on the build up was never a foul. And you're looking back and you should have beat them twice there. But every game at Ibrox has sort of went the same way. In the knockout stage, we've started fast. We've got goals and we've just destroyed a team in like the first 45. I couldn't believe
when that manager had turned around and said, we don't expect Rangers to go for it straight away the first minute. Well, you've not been watching us at home in Europe then, mate, because for the very first whistle, we're going for it until the last. Do you know what I mean? You seen it in the extra time with Braga. We kept going. There was no stopping us. Do you know what I mean? But no, I can't. Europa League finalist, Jack.
It's took us what it was recording this on Monday. The game happened like 3-4 days ago, whatever, and you're still sitting here thinking, like, how did that even happen? The highlights have been on repeat. The 10-minute celebrations that BT put up have been on repeat. The tunes in the head, like, it's one of these things that it's took us to Monday when we usually record the podcast. We still can't even really put any words how we're even here. As you say, it was just good being at the game, experiencing it and taking it all in. And seeing, again, another team like Red Bull Leipzig with some top players. And it'll be interesting to see what some of them going to do in their career and to see you've witnessed players like that. Because I think Nkunku is going to be one of the guys, like, he's going to go get a big move in the summer. So it was nice seeing a player like that.
I can't believe Pep Guardiola didn't rate that left back at Angelino. He can deliver a ball and he's so fast, it's unreal. Like, Pep Guardiola turned around and went, he's no good enough. I tell you who's no good enough, you, Pep. You can't even win the Champions League, you bottler. But no, I look forward to these players getting older and talking about that night at Ibrox. I tell you what, man, what a night. Special, incredible. Just can't believe I got to be there and witness that, man. But honestly, even the saves, as you say, mate, the saves that McGregor made, that was a big save, that one. Because if that goes in, it maybe is a different game. You never know. It's like, thankful we don't know. Thankful we're on our way.
No, it's just crazy to see. As I was watching the Real Madrid game that previous night as well, the scenes they had to get into the Champions League final, and then the night after we are playing and we're in a final, and it
gave me hope straight away, mate. I already believed in my team, and I kept saying to you all the time, we'll do them. I knew they would fold with that crowd, but even that just gave me hope. I mean, just sensational for Benzema to put that goal away and what have you, but just a comeback in general with like 6 minutes left on it, like,
you can never write a team off.
Couldn't happen to a nicer team. Honestly, you sign somebody like Jack Grealish, you deserve what you get.
I can't stand especially for that amount of money. I know. And the game should have been put out of bed for him as well. But watching a game like that, as you say, giving you sort of belief that with no matter what happens, you can still pull something out the bag and go and qualify. And Real Madrid are obviously the masters of doing that. But then to know that you're at the very end of a competition that has still got some of these teams in it. Obviously, Champions League's a different competition, but seeing teams like that and you're fighting on a different front, and it doesn't make sense that we're even there. And the way football's going, as you said earlier on, like, we're never meant to really be here. The sort of Champions League and Europa League and all that are set up that teams like us don't progress, and it's the big money teams that go on and do the best in it. But this season's been totally different, to be honest with you. Like, when you look across the finals this year, you've got Liverpool, Real Madrid, two historic clubs in that competition. Eintracht Frankfurt, Rangers, again, two well-supported historic clubs. And then you've got Roma and Feyenoord, again, like two proper good clubs. So all the competitions this year have got really, really strong finals with big clubs in it. So I'm happy with that as well.
No, listen, definitely get some big clubs in there. I know Gio will be rooting for his team to do that, but I'll be rooting for Jose. I'm sorry, Gio, only time I'll go against you. But no, just as you say, just to maybe be potential to play a Liverpool, who are easily the best team in the world, or a Real Madrid who are so historic with the Champions League, to potentially be playing them in a Super Cup. That's just fantastic. But we can't. I said, mate, I think this Eintracht Frankfurt, I think they're a really good team, as I said to you, mate. They seem like the kind of you scored, we were going to score 2.
Mm-hmm.
The goal they scored into West Ham and all was that was a fantastic goal. Still can't believe he was like me in the summer, that boy that they signed.
Nah, he definitely looks like a proper striker, him.
Is he out? Is he injured now?
Well, I've seen, just looking at the football app I've got on my phone, I've seen they've got a few injuries. I know Hinteregger's out for the full season. Tuta, again, another one of their starting centre-halves, got injured yesterday. Gibberal So, again, he came on yesterday off the bench, but he's got a broken nose, but he's still playing. So they've got a few injuries. They've got another player. They've got a player called Lindstrom, not Lundstrom. They've got a player called Lindstrom, an attacking player. I seen he's out with a hamstring injury as well. So we'll need to see if next week they do make it. But they've got a couple of big absentees, I think. We're looking at their team. But I watched the highlights for the West Ham game. Their fans are crazy. Their fans are absolutely mental, and I think that's maybe some of the last proper fans in Germany that are like that, like pure like ultras.
I love their club.
And they're not even doing that well in the league either. But as we were speaking to Adam a couple of weeks ago, building up the Leipzig ties, like he said, that this is their front. They love the European competition, so that will always stick in the back of my head. Obviously, before we play them, they love the competition, but so do we. And I think it's just going to be a very well matched final. Like if you're a bookmaker or something, you look at that like, who do you even put as a favourite? Because Eintracht Frankfurt are unbeaten in every game in the Europa League this season. They've topped the group. They beat Barcelona, so it's not going to be like a walk in the park. It's going to be another crucial big game, I think, man.
Definitely. But just for the Barcelona game, it's not even that they just beat Barcelona. They beat them in the Nou Camp. And the goals, some of the goals they scored as well, if I can remember off my top of my head.
I mean, as you're saying, that Colombian boy body, the strike he put in at the Nou Camp was crazy. And then to see how well supported they've been going over there as well, outnumbering Barcelona in their own stadium. Crazy. Man. So as we just said there, two top teams are going to be going at it. We'll talk about that, building up obviously next week on next week's podcast. Still crazy we're even going to be talking about Europa League final, but well, there you could talk about it all day. That's the thing. You could talk about.
She just another thing that I want to just say is Greg Stewart is going to be at that game. I'm telling you right now, Greggy Stewart is going to be there watching his team potentially do the business.
So that's your lucky omen. Greg Stewart's here, so yeah, we're going to do it then. Hopefully. But although it'll be great to talk about this forever, we'll talk about some other things that have happened. Scott Arfield signed on his year extension, and Alex Lowry finally signed his, I think, 3-4 year deal or something. So nice to see two players signed up. I'm not obviously going to be the biggest fan of the Scott Arfield deal, but I can understand that it makes sense to have, if you're going to be losing Davis and McGregor maybe next year. Obviously, McGregor, there's news come out that we'll maybe sign him on for a year, but if you're losing sort of big names in the dressing room, big experienced players, having a guy like Arfield, not saying he's maybe going to play too much, but having him there for the ethos of the squad and keeping team morale and that up seems like just a good guy to have about. Although he's not my favourite player on the pitch, I mean, I think he's a good guy to have in and about the dressing room. The problem I have I just hope we don't go the route is just signing players up because they're here. Like although I love Al McGregor and stuff, like I think it's time to move on and give somebody else a chance to be number one. I'd be happy with John McLaughlin, by the way. John McLaughlin has never put a foot wrong, and see the skill that guy's got with his feet. He's commanding his box and stuff. Like that's what I want from my keeper all day long. But just signing players on, although they've been magnificent for the club, and you can never take that away from them. I think maybe just one step too far for a couple of players. Arfield, the one I can get, it makes sense. It's not going to be, obviously, well, it might be a massive overhaul in the summer with players coming in, out, whatever, and maybe keeping somebody like that for another year would be fine, so I can understand it. But the McGregor stuff that's come out today, I really hope we maybe look at elsewhere for a goalkeeper.
No, I'm the same, mate. I don't see anything wrong with just bringing in maybe a young lad. And I know obviously we've been linked with the Dundee keeper, the boy for Schalke, is it? Mm-hmm. I just, as you say, mate, love Al McGregor, and what he's done, man, has just been remarkable. You know what I mean? But it's just, for me, I think it is one of them where it's time to move on. Arfield one, I agree with you. Do you know what I mean? If it makes sense maybe for another year, squad morale, what have you, good player maybe once in a while just to throw on. Like yesterday, do you know what I mean? When you're getting the young boys in, used to first team football. So with that one it does, but with McGregor, I'm no too keen on another year Real McGregor personally. Love him to bits. You know what I mean? The guy deserves the best send off. Do you know what I mean? The amount of saves that he's made in these European competitions that have helped his progress as well, and what he's done is mad. You're not going to hang him, you know what I mean? It's just it's just time for him.
Nah, especially this season, you've saw him sort of drop off a wee bit in terms of maybe some of the goals we've conceded in the league and stuff like that. So although he's still a cracking goalkeeper, shot stopper, I hope we look elsewhere for a goalkeeper in the summer and McGregor or whatever he does, even if he does go and move on to do something else. He'll always be a legend of Rangers, no matter if he leaves at the end of the year. It's all about opinions in it. Like, personally, I think a lot of people have sort of had their criticisms of Al McGregor this year, which I think rightfully so at times.
It's deserved, but I tell you what, Jack, we're going to just mention it here. Kent to Barcelona. Don't believe it for a second, but
I mean, I'll need to read up what you're talking about. I've not seen anything about it.
Telling you, I'm seeing it everywhere I go on Rangers pages. All that's getting shared is Kent's getting signed by Barcelona. I don't believe it for a second, but Barcelona have made some weird signings, so it wouldn't shock me.
I mean, why wouldn't you look at a guy that's
no, I know,
playing
but
on that level?
No, I know, but just it's Barcelona, though. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
it's still to me. Do you know what I mean? It's Barcelona. Like, Ryan Kent's definitely, arguably, our best player on his day. I don't see it. If it happens, fair play to the guy. But I can't see it. I just think it's one of the weird ones. You know what I mean?
I think I don't think I'd look too much into it. Obviously, it's unbelievable that players like even getting linked to
Barcelona. I can get behind that.
Off season, he can go over there and do his business in the La Liga as well. I've got no problems with that. But looking away for Kent to Barcelona, which is hopefully doesn't happen. Alex Lowry. Finally, we've waited for a while. A guy you actually mentioned at the very first episode I think we've done in this podcast this season. You saw him in the Partick Thistle behind closed doors game. You seen what he had to offer as a youngster, even coming through this season, and we saw it again just before we go on to the Dundee United game. He was sensational again yesterday, even if it is for 20-30 minutes for the B team. I know they've got a big game coming up today as well. He'll be playing in, so getting him first team minutes, getting him onto a contract, but we know he's been linked with, I think it was like Man City, Newcastle, big teams obviously want his signature. For him to commit his future to the club and hopefully be a first teamer next year is going to be good. And I'm just happy to get that one done as well.
No, definitely. There was one that had to be done. I couldn't. It made me sick to my stomach if we lost him to a team like Man City. I'll tell you that right now. Because he'd just be another player that gets loaned out to like Spanish second division. Do you know what I mean? There's real quality there. And I hope he gets the chance, and best luck to the B team today, obviously.
Best of luck. Hopefully, I think it's a final they're in, so best of luck to them with their game today. And we'll talk about the Dundee United game now. Obviously, you were saying about the Dundee United keeper. Every time we've played Dundee United this year, it's been a hard graft against Dundee United. And their goalie's a good guy to mention for that. A couple of really good saves yesterday. I think if we're going to go and sign a goalie, I think he is definitely one to look at. I'm impressed with him every time I've saw him this season. In terms of last season as well, I thought he'd done really well for Dundee United. I think he had some of the most saves in the league, something like that. So
I just remember him for the 0-0 with Celtic. Obviously, we were all watching.
We're all watching that game.
Like his life depended on it. So a guy like that, I can get behind signing.
Every time I've saw him, just when we were talking about goalies and that there, seen him yesterday and I thought he done really well. But Dundee United, it was, as you say, it's a dead rubber game. You're kind of going to the game on Sunday knowing like just kind of just see everybody get a game and use the squad, bring on a couple of youngsters for debuts and stuff like that, and that's exactly what happened. Although we started with obviously testament to Tavernier and Goldson that can just consistently just keep going and going and going. Like, it doesn't even matter to them. Two of them obviously playing. Nice to see Leon King getting a game. Barisic obviously in for the start. Davis, Sands, who else? Sakala. Arfield was playing up front, which I thought was a bit. I'm sitting looking at Cedric Itten, right? Cedric Itten can't even go on the bench for a nothing game. And we've not even got a striker, and he's not even on the bench or anything. Like, that just tells me everything I need to know about him and where he's going to. But Scott Wright obviously starting again as well. So pretty strong team. He had the youngsters and stuff on the bench to come on, and it was all about just sort of, obviously you want to win the game, but then continuing on for where we've been. Obviously for 2 massive games.
2 massive games, and it was nice to see players like you and me have backed since they've come in the club. Have fantastic performances. Your boy got a goal. I thought nobody was celebrating that goal more than you. And now everybody's starting to say, "Oh, I wouldn't mind taking him for next season." And it's patience, guys. That's all it is. Patience. It takes time for these players to settle in. And as you say, the boy's running about with the scarves and the hats on, and he's loving it up here. Meanwhile, his club down in England are getting battered 4-0 off Brighton. I wouldn't want to go back either, mate. I'd like to stay up here and all. Sands, top quality. I love the boy. Leon King, bossed it. I want to see more of him next season. McLaughlin, just tremendous. And as you said, Tavernier and Goldson setting the standard. They just constantly keep going, non-stop. Let's keep going. Sakala, I need a word with you, mate. I love you. But seeing this summer, going to do a Kobe O'Brien or a Michael Jordan and just play football non-stop. Because you should have had 10 goals yesterday, man, if we're being honest with each other here. I know there's quality there. I just believe there's quality there for the striker I've seen at Celtic Park and what I've seen throughout the season. I do think he's a good player. I think for a free signing he's been fantastic, but I just thought he could have had a hat-trick yesterday. Really, I mean, the work that Diablo did to get that ball to him, not to score that for me was a bit heartbreaking because that boy ran his socks, so a wee bit of fancy, loved it. And then a beautifully weighted pass. Do you know what I mean? You got to slit that in the corner for me. But I'd like to see Fashion just have a summer where non-stop, can't be stopped.
Because you can see he's got quality. Obviously, it just needs brushed up on. Like some of the chances, even the one on Thursday, although it was offside, where Lindstrom passed him the ball, and I think it was like the last few minutes of the game.
And
I mean, he misses it, and you're thinking, just like how. And obviously he's offside anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But some of the chances he got yesterday, I thought I definitely should have been goals. And you see like a performance like Celtic Park. I mean, he's played so well. Probably again should have had like a hat trick that game. So as you say, maybe in the summer, I think he'll be quite an important player. He has been an important player even now. Like we've had to rely on him to do a lot of different roles this season so far.
I tell you what else Rangers could do. Greg Stewart, could you come in and just work with Fashion Sakala and show him how to win a Ballon d'Or like you're going to do, sir?
I mean, the guy scores goals, so just saying. But as you say, it was nice to get to Ramsey as well to get another start. For me, Ramsey is just on his game. Quality. He's just top class. Like I just can't see some of the positions he fills in and the runs he makes and how he takes control of the ball. And even if some passes were going out the pitch, and if he's just some of his link up play and his passing was sensational yesterday. And I genuinely still feel, obviously he's been injured the past couple of games. A player like that quality next summer could be everything we need to keep building, because like a player like that. I just think he's great. I really hope we would get something done to keep him. If he's willing to obviously take a wage cut, albeit if it's another loan, I'm happy. I'd love to get him in for another season, give him a proper go with a pre-season and get everyone under his belt, because even now you're just seeing the sort of quality a guy like that brings to the team.
No, he's different gravy on his day, mate. When he's fully fit and he's ready to go, tremendous. Him and Davis linked up and all, and then it was offside, wasn't it? It was a hang. I enjoyed that. He's doing me fancy hangies as well, as I say. So, as I say, I'd keep him for next season if we could do everything we can. I'd love to sign him permanently. I'd like to see the guy get more minutes and get the fitness and whatever sort of injury it is that keeps bugging him. Maybe in the summer,
he looks like a guy that needs stability. Obviously, since he was at Arsenal, he's become probably a legend over in Arsenal, if you would say so. And then he went to Juventus, never really worked out for him, never really in the plans. And then on loan to Rangers, I wouldn't like to see him be a player of his quality and can just be constantly loaned out everywhere. I want him to go somewhere, especially when getting a taste of the Ibrox and stuff. He's 31, so he's still
still get
a couple of years.
I could definitely play up here for a couple of years, definitely.
Definitely.
I'd take it to be a case where he's here and then he ends up getting sold to an MLS club or something. No chance. That guy's got quality. Get him up here, Rangers. Ross Wilson, do the business.
I think it's one of the smartest bits of business we could make. Although knowing him in this when we signed him in January, we knew the injury issues that would come with him. And I think if you're willing to buy into that, he's going to be a player that can change games for you. Even if he has got a couple of injuries, we know Kemar Roof's got injuries in him every season as well. It's no problem. I think he's just going to, if we keep him, strengthens the squad to a massive degree. And I thought he was really good yesterday. We were unlucky not to get the opening goal in the first half, but second half, we sort of yanked up the pressure again. Amad Diallo comes on. I was actually disappointed when I was looking at the team going to the game and not seeing him starting. I thought, what's this guy got to do for a start? And then I seen him warming up at half time, and I'm like, right, he's coming on at half time, it's fine. And I probably sort of mirror image his Ross County performance. I thought for the first game he played for us, he was great. He was trying stuff. He looked confident. And again yesterday, just took a couple of tackles, couple of passes to get into it. But once he got in his groove, I mean, I thought he was fantastic yesterday, and that's what I've been wanting to see for the guy. He's got great quality, and again, you're not going to go for that amount of money if you've literally got no talent whatsoever. And he showed it yesterday that he has it. Took a couple of sore ones and then just kept on going. That run you were talking about, chips it over the man, and just the control that he keeps the ball at his feet. And Sakala, as you say, probably should score that one. He maybe on another day would go on his own, but I thought one of the best 45 minutes I've maybe seen at Ibrox this season. I thought he was great. Lowry obviously picking him out as well with a nice pass, and he was obviously offside for that one. But for him to get his goal, and as you say, happiest man in Ibrox at that point.
You maybe could say Jackie was feeling it.
He was feeling
it. But no, I thought once he got his game going, mate, he was unstoppable. Honestly, he could have just one of them, or maybe my boy Sands just gives him the ball. Go do what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? It was nice to see. I know, as I said, it felt like a pre-season game, but it was nice to see these players get a run out. It was nice to see the youth get a run out as well. So overall, I was happy with it. When the Rangers game apparently, so it was good.
No, it was just nice to see Diallo. He looks like a player that probably is a confidence player. Like, he'll thrive off getting goals and playing well. So even if going into Wednesday with Ross County as well, another game where we're going to need to rotate and use the squad again, I'd start him probably up front or something like that. We're kind of lacking strikers, so why not give him a shot up top? And for all the youngsters that came on yesterday, Devine at right back, not really heard much of him. There was a confusion when who was going off. Tavernier was like, I'm coming off. And he gives his armband away, and he's like, no. So there was confusion with him. He's a right back. Again, I think he's only 18, debut. So it's going to be tough for him to then go in and impact straight away. But he done well. McCann, for me, McCann is top notch. Just sprays the ball about like a Stephen Davis. It's like you're watching Davis's son play. Just so similar in what they do, and I think he's going to be a permanent fixture in that team. He has to be. He's so good. And Lowry again, just showing a good bit of flair. And I watched their interviews after the game, and playing with guys like Davis and Ramsey and that's going to do wonders for their careers so early on as well.
No, tremendous, mate. It's going to do a lot for their careers, just being around those kind of players and seeing the quality they have as well, and not only the quality but what they like off the park as well. Respectful, always giving people their time, probably. Do you know what I mean? And putting the hard work in. That's the most important thing, as we say all the time. Hard work beats the talent, Jack. And they've got to be hard working, even though they've got talent. Diablo's had to be hard working to get his place in the team and that. Hopefully he does get a start. I'd like to see him start Ross County. I think he deserves it, to be fair. But as I said, Jack, it takes time with these players, and it's nice to see the players that me and you have backed. People have given them stick. Finally, people are going, they're great.
Because there's no question with Diallo anyway. Like, the guy was going to have. He's got an abundance of talent. You're bringing that guy in and knowing that, and for him to then finally probably took him a while to settle in at Ibrox. Let's be honest, he's a young guy. He's barely played much football. He's coming in straight into it and straight into a massive Old Firm game. Obviously, maybe that wasn't the best decision at that time to maybe put him in straight away. But for then on, he's never really had too many chances. But anytime he's got on, I'm being impressed with him. Dundee United was one of the ones though. That's where he get criticised for. Obviously, he hit the post and not passing to Sakala. And then since then, it seemed like we never really saw him too much. But if he's working in the back burner and he's working to go and get an opportunity, I'm all for that. And to see him getting a couple of opportunities over the past couple of weeks has been good to see. And he looks to be building up a good relationship with a lot of people at the club. Sakala and him seem to have a good friendship, and then obviously all the youngsters as well. So it's nice to see him finally sort of settling in.
That's what I'm saying. It's took him this long to feel comfortable. So that to me makes so much sense for Rangers to go. We'd like him for another season, a full season, because you can tell he's feeling comfortable now. He feels like he's got a good bit of hang with everyone, and you can see that with his game as
definitely
well.
For his development, I think. Coming to here and coming to the demands that the club has and having to learn that and having to work on him and just maybe not get on most games and sit there, maybe be the best option for him to then come in next summer again and have another year, because as you say, he's developed within the squad, made a lot of relationships in the team and stuff like that. So you could say to Man United, look, we've reached a European final. He's been involved in that at a young age as well. So I think definitely for the summer, I'd be happy with having him for another year and sort of continuing his development here for Man United.
No, definitely, mate. I agree with what you said there. I think it makes sense. As you said, it's took us long for him to feel comfortable. I'd just be saying, look, you didn't make a European final. We have. Let's give the boys some chance to. It's got to be so crushing down to be Man United. Do you know what I mean? Toby agrees with me. Toby wants to come and say hello. You agree with me about Diablo?
No, he definitely wants him back.
He was watching the game and all. Loves the Rangers. Is Toby? Aye. No, I agree, mate. I just think he's a quality player. Aye, what are we doing?
Aye, tuned to the TV on Thursday, was he? Aye.
Yeah, he was, aye. He's good. He watches the games all the time, mate. Right, on you go.
I was going to ask him his thoughts on Scott Wright there.
Aye, no, he's better than Scott Wright, honestly.
But as you say, just to finish off as well, just the sort of pre-season sort of feel with the game yesterday, still got the job done. Players get minutes, and it was good to see. The league games will obviously finish. We've got Ross County on Wednesday, and then Hearts away on Saturday, and that's the league season done. And then after that, it's game time. Two massive games in the 1 week for two cups. So I also will talk about that next week. But looking forward to the Ross County game, last game at Ibrox in the league this season. So we'll see what happens. So you're getting battered here, so I'll need to finish up.
I know, it's party season for Toby.
Yes. Well, I think that's us. Anything else you want
to? There was Leeds are getting relegated. Just saying it.
We talked about Leeds at the very end of the episode last week, and it doesn't look very good, does it?
No, it's just showing Marcel took bang average footballers and made them so much better. Don't mind Jesse Marsh, but the board deserve everything that's going to come to them. That's what I'll say. I'm on the Rangers European finalists, Scottish Cup finalists. Let's go and do the business. That's all I can say. Yeah,
let's go and do the business. As always, like, subscribe, share about for us, and we'll see you next week, building up the Europa League final. So, see you then.
Crazy.